to Hacker After Dark travel a heck of a lot more than I do. I had always heard that Atlanta was the biggest beast of an airport, and it is. Don't get me wrong. It is a gigantic building. I've had many issues in Atlanta. But that Charlotte airport last night, when we get dropped off on E terminal, and we have 15 minutes to get to the B terminal, we got dropped off in the Eric terminal. We had to get to the Bobby terminal.
A little pep in your step.
In 15 minutes, Denmark. I was huffing and I was puffing by the end of that situation.
What did you do? Had Urban Meyer hands on knees when you got there?
Well, I mean, I had the rolling suitcase. I had the heavy backpack. It was a situation, is what it was. The moving walkways were not moving last night at the Charlotte International Airport, so I got very little support in that regard. But I have a new healthy respect for Charlotte, North Carolina, and it has made the list with Atlanta and with LaGuardia as airports that I respect completely, because it is a beast to get from point A to point B, or in my case last night, from Terminal E to Terminal B. But glad to be back with you here in the city of Jacksonville. We got a lot to do. It's a brand new week on Hacker After Dark, and we are glad you are with us. Coming up in hour number one, Mia O'Brien of XL Primetime. We'll get her on in about a half an hour or so. I want to wrap up the Canton trip with Mia, the Baselli speech. If you have not checked out the video that was put out on the 1010XL Twitter feed, on 1010XL Facebook, 1010XL YouTube, last night, just wrapping up the weekend's festivities, you need to take 3 minutes of your time tonight or tomorrow morning and check that out. Mia, Graham, they did a terrific job with that video. So we'll wrap up the Canton trip with Mia O'Brien, talk about Jaguar practice today. That's coming up about 8:35 at 9 o'clock, or 9:15 rather. 9:15 tonight, Graham Hall over in Gainesville. You know, you can kind of forget, we've been so wrapped up in Tony Baselli, right? And so wrapped up in the Jaguars and training camp. You look on that calendar, we're 19 days away from the first Saturday in college football. Inside of 3 weeks until Florida State plays, Vanderbilt and Hawaii, Northwestern, and I think Nebraska on opening weekend. 19 days away. 26 days away from Labor Day weekend, where Utah will come in to play the Florida Gators. And we'll talk Gator football with Graham Hall of 24/7 Sports coming up at 9:15. And finally, at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour, Lauren Brooks. You get her every day on the Frangie Show. You get her Tuesdays on Helmets and Heels. Really enjoyed the trip to Canton with everybody. Talking to Lauren about the Jaguars, about the Gators. I said, hey, why don't we actually do this on the radio? So Lauren Brooks will make her Hacker After Dark debut coming up at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. But as we do every night on Hacker After Dark, we kick it off with a big deal of the night. Dylan Denmark, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
It is a big deal. Practice has begun again for the Jacksonville Jaguars following the Hall of Fame game in Canton. That wheel keeps turning, right? We stayed in Canton 3 extra days. Friday, Saturday, came back on Sunday for Tony Baselli's enshrinement. Well, guess what? The Cleveland Browns, they get on an airplane in less than 72 hours, and they will travel here to Jacksonville. Their first preseason game, Jacksonville's second preseason game. So the Jaguars preparing for Cleveland for preseason game number 2. By the way, the NFL as a whole kicks off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You have some sort of NFL preseason football as all 32 teams will be in action. The Jaguars come off a 27-11 loss to the Raiders, a game where 21 players did not play for Jacksonville, including stars like Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne, Josh Allen, just to name a few. But back at practice, it began yesterday when we were up in Ohio. We're looking at reports. from our media brethren that were out there at camp. And apparently they got after it yesterday. I heard Mark Long, the AP, my friend Mark Long, John Shipley of Jaguar Report, who we have on here, talk about it being the most physical training camp practice they have seen in a long time. They really, really were doing some thumping yesterday at Jaguar camp. And my question to myself when I was reading this is, well, I wonder if that has anything to do with what happened in Canton on Thursday night, or if this was pre-planned. Regardless of what happened in Canton, the Sunday after the Hall of Fame game, they were going to get after it. They were going to bust heads. And I think in talking to some people, it was probably planned. Coaches like Doug Peterson have these things planned to the minute and to the hour. So certainly every day is planned of camp. But how about that? Travis Etienne took a couple shots yesterday. Haven't we been waiting for that? Etienne coming off the Liz Frank injury, the foot injury last year. To my knowledge, yesterday was the first time he had really absorbed contact. Now, again, it was a practice. It wasn't a game. And I was on an airplane, so I didn't see it. But in talking to people, it was a couple of shots. I mean, it was... He got hit yesterday in full pads. Bounced right up and was fine. So that is a great, and I do mean a great first sign in hoping that Travis Etienne is completely 100% healthy. And I got to tell you, too, the Jaguars have been a snake-bitten football team. Really going back to 2018. 2017, they were very healthy, which is why, in large part, they went where they did in the AFC title game. But think about all the injuries in 18 and 19 and 20 and 21. Just piling up one after another after another. It's very early. It's the 8th day of August. Only the Jaguars and the Raiders have played a preseason game. And I'm going to say this while I'm knocking on wood. Hear that? I just knocked on wood. So I'm covering my bases with this. Today, Christian Kirk came up hobbled, I think celebrating a touchdown. Hobbled off the field, and you're thinking the worst, right? Absolutely thinking the worst. Looks like he's fine. Did an interview with Hayes Carline of the Frangie Show, didn't even go into the medical tent. Jaguars avoided one right there. It was a scare, but the Jaguars avoided a problem. Go back to Thursday night in Canton. Tyson Campbell laying there on the ground 5 minutes into the first quarter. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, what is going on? That's one of our best defensive players out there. Don't tell me this is happening. Tyson Campbell bounces right up, runs off the field. Is fine. The Jaguars have avoided serious things to this point. Had some scares, and I know it's early, but scares here in Jacksonville turned out to be awful consequences in the last 4 years. At least in the first 2.5 weeks of this camp and the preseason, the scares to this point have turned out to be only that. And let's hope that trend continues. I'll tell you another thing that's interesting, too. Will he or won't he? Will Trevor Lawrence play on Friday night? I believe it was Press Taylor, the Jaguar offensive coordinator, earlier today, said the coaches are still talking through that. They're still analyzing that situation. There are 3 preseason games left. You got Cleveland on Friday night. You got Pittsburgh a week from Saturday. You end in Atlanta, which includes a couple of joint practices with the Falcons in the days leading up. I know that the injury concern is always going to be there. But here's my concern. And tell me what you think on the text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010. Maybe I'm flat out wrong on this. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But I'll tell you my thoughts. You give me yours on the text line. Trevor Lawrence is not Joe Montana. Trevor Lawrence is not Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. All right? Trevor Lawrence, we hope he's going to be good. We expect him to be good, but to this point, he's a quarterback that's thrown 12 touchdowns and 17 picks. Does not have a high completion percentage. Can you let him sit out the entire preseason? Or let him play very little in the preseason? And you added all these new weapons, right? Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Zay Jones. I know he's worked with ETN in the past, but that was 2 years ago. He hasn't played a competitive game with Travis Etienne since their final game at Clemson. Don't you have to build timing in a game? Don't you have to go against a defense that is legitimately trying to stop you, as opposed to a defense in practice that will not hit Trevor Lawrence? He's got the red jersey on. And that may not be going 100% full speed because it is practice. Although, like I said, Sundays apparently was 100% full speed, but that's few and far between. I think you need game reps for Trevor and these new guys. I'm not saying play the entire game, but you didn't play in Canton. Are you going to play in Atlanta? I doubt it. Most teams don't play the final preseason game, the starters anyway. So that gives you two options, two chances. Cleveland this week and Pittsburgh the week after. Don't we have to build timing and chemistry and all that with Trevor and these new weapons? Don't we have to see Trevor get out there and throw the ball around a little bit? Well, Green Bay doesn't play Aaron Rodgers. Well, that's Aaron freaking Rodgers. Tampa Bay doesn't want to play Tom Brady. I get it. He's got 7 rings. Takes 2 hands to hold them all. Trevor Lawrence threw 12 touchdowns and 17 picks last year. And even though we all think he's going to be good, and we all expect him to be good, does he not need to play in the preseason? I don't know. I think he does. I got to see him get out there. Something else to think about, too. Remember the Cleveland preseason game last year? Remember Cleveland's backups came in here and beat the Jacksonville starters to death in that first quarter? Urban Meyer's debut. Case Keenum for Cleveland, the backup to Baker Mayfield, looked like Brett Favre in that first quarter. We need to see that reverse this week, don't we? Jacksonville is the team that's already played a game. Cleveland has not. Jacksonville's been in camp a few more extra days than Cleveland, a few more practices. If you already have a game under your belt and you have 3 or 4 more practices under your belt, shouldn't Jacksonville look like the better, more organized, focused team on Friday night? That's something else to keep notice of, too. Tell me what you think on the text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Do you need to see Trevor play? Do you need to see Trevor out there with these new guys that they signed? Get them some game reps. Or do you say, nope, I'm good. We'll see you in Washington September 11th. 641-1010 on the text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. As always, we are streaming Hacker After Dark. Go to the 1010XL YouTube channel. Just search 1010XL on YouTube. You'll see Hacker After Dark there until 10 o'clock tonight. Be sure and like and subscribe while you're there. You can also go to the station Twitter feed at 1010XL. On Twitter at 1010XL, you'll see Hacker After Dark there for your viewing pleasure until 10 o'clock this evening. Coming up next, more on the National Football League. And I want to shift gears into the world of college football. Remember that? We got college football games 19 days away. Let's talk a little college ball. Next, Hacker After Dark on a Monday in Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us.
Joe C.
We all know this man, and he drinks beer.
Matt Hayes.
Someone's had my driver's license suspended.
Mia O'Brien.
American women are seldom so straightforward.
And Leon Searcy.
Butt cheeks are tight.
XL Prime Time. Noon to 3 on 1010XL.
Tired of the same old places for happy hour? Downtown's best is at Bellwether. It's Tuesday through Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m., with the exception on Friday when happy hour starts at 11 a.m. because why not? For all you late-nighters, Bellwether offers nightcap specials on Friday and Saturday from 10 to midnight. Want a snack with your cocktail? Bellwether has a unique bar food spread. And guess what? All metered parking is free after 6 on weekdays as well as the weekend. That's Bellwether downtown.
With your home value up again, you are sitting on a pile of money. Don't just let it sit there. Use it. Hey, it's Prosser here for my friends at Loan Pronto. Introducing Loan Pronto's Equity Line of Credit program. You don't have to refinance, but you can access up to 97% of your home's value. Get cash now to pay off all your credit cards or do that home improvement project. Get your down payment for a new home or stash away for a safety net. You can get $50,000, even $100,000 or more out of your home, and the payments are crazy low. Think what you can do with $100,000 right now. Loan Pronto makes unlocking your equity easy, and they can probably even waive the appraisal fee. Don't let all the home equity pile up. Turn your house into an ATM machine and get the cash you need. Call Loan Pronto now, 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. You can also reach Loan Pronto at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Hickett here for Roof It Right. You know the drill. Hey, that's our show. Don't let anyone touch your roof until you got a quote from my friends at Roof It Right. Storm season right around the corner. Get prepared now with an inspection from Jacksonville's Master Elite Roofer, and sleep easy knowing your home is protected by the area's best materials and best warranties. There's a lot of roofers here in town. Roof It Right is the company I trust. Schedule your estimates today at roofitRightFL.com. That's roofitRightFL.com, and see why your friends and neighbors say Roof It Right so you can sleep at night.
Hacker here for my friends at Xfinity. Look, when you want something great, you probably don't want to wait for it. Well, Xfinity has a new offer you won't want to wait to take advantage of. The Xfinity 3-for-1 bundle. You get unlimited internet and fast speed. There's no annual contract required and no equipment fees. And there's even a 2-year internet rate guarantee. You'll get unlimited internet, a free Flex 4K streaming box, and one line of unlimited mobile, all for just $75 a month. The Xfinity 3-for-1 bundle is built with you in mind. This is a limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with a stored bank account. New fast internet customers only. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay. Xfinity Internet. Don't wait. Visit Xfinity.com/3-for-1. Call 1-800-XFINITY or Jacksonville, do what I did and hop into an Xfinity store today.
It all comes down to Daytona and the Coke Zero Sugar 400 race weekend, August 26th and 27th. Answer this question for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 August 27th. Which manufacturer has the most wins in the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the answer to 641-1010. Which manufacturer has the most wins in the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the answer to 641-1010.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician, Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Strength and resistance training are some of the best forms of exercise you can do to strengthen your muscles and improve your body composition. It may also lead to important improvements in metabolic health, meaning your blood sugar levels are easier to manage, and it also increases how many calories you burn at rest. The Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans recommends resistance training twice per week in addition to cardio training. Let's get fit, Jacksonville.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinsky. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Lauren Brooks, Donna Murphy, Taylor Dahl, and Mia O'Brien.
You ladies don't seem to realize you're going to make my boys look bad.
Helmets and heels.
Driven by Tire Outlet. Presented by Underwood Jewelers.
Tuesday nights at 6.
On 1010XL. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Glad you're with us on a Monday night. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Off the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. I'm pretty surprised. The response we've gotten so far, does Trevor Lawrence need to play this preseason? I haven't gotten one person yet that says he needs to play. I got Hack. Justin Herbert has never played in a preseason game. It has not hurt him. Yeah, Justin Herbert didn't throw 12 touchdowns and 17 picks last year. That's kind of my point. Mike from Jack's Beach, I'd love to see Trevor play and the rest of the guys, but they don't necessarily need to. Nope, I'm good waiting to Washington Park. Blank no. I'll say blank no. Trevor does not need to play. Ow, I'm surprised. Look, again, if we're having a show in Tampa right now, we're not asking if Tom Brady needs to play. If we're having a show in Green Bay right now, I'm not asking you if Aaron Rodgers needs to play. There's a lot of markets. Buffalo, right? Cincinnati. Both Los Angeles teams, Rams and Chargers. Obviously, those quarterbacks, if they go into the regular season without a preseason snap, they're probably going to be fine. Is Zach Wilson going to play in New York in the preseason? You bet he is. Is Justin Fields going to play in Chicago this preseason? You bet he is. Mac Jones in New England? Yep. Trey Lance in San Francisco? Yeah, he better. He absolutely better. Second-year quarterbacks that had limited success last year, with the exception of Mac Jones. But even Mac started struggling towards the end of his rookie year. Got to play him. At least a little bit. I'm not saying a whole game. I'm not even saying a half. Get him out there. Let him work up a sweat. Throw a couple of balls. But in this case here in Jacksonville, you're going to be relying on guys that Trevor Lawrence has never taken the field with until opening day if they don't play in the preseason. Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram. You spent a ton of money on these guys. Are you okay not seeing them build that rapport in a game before opening day in Washington? Now, of course, if Trevor plays and heaven forbid something were to happen, then it's a catastrophe. Then it is a full-blown catastrophe. I get that. But you know as well as I do that on the Monday after the Washington game, if Trevor goes out there and struggles, that you're going to say, you know what? They didn't play in the preseason. They don't have any experience together. Their timing's off. It'll be Monday morning quarterbacking at its finest. So I don't know if there is a right answer. It's certainly an opinion-based question. Does Trevor need to play or not? I would play him. I would play him for a quarter against Cincinnati or against Cleveland. I might play him a quarter and a half against Pittsburgh, and that would be it. But I do think there is something to being in a game with your new weapons. Look, if Trevor Lawrence had been playing with Marvin Jones and Laviska Shenault for 4 years, and he knew what they were going to do and they knew what he was going to do at the snap of a finger, that's different. You can only do so much, in my opinion, during OTAs and minicamp. You got to make it happen in game-time situations. And I would just have a little trepidation if Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, Travis Etienne to an extent go out there in Washington on the second Sunday in September on opening day and don't have any game reps whatsoever with Trevor Lawrence. We'll see. From a Cleveland point of view, Deshaun Watson's available to play. He can play in the preseason, right? He suspended 6 games in the regular season. What does Cleveland do? Do you play Deshaun Watson? Keep in mind what they paid this guy. They gave him a ton of money. He suspended 6 games. He did not play football last year, So Deshaun Watson has not played a competitive football game since, December of 2020? So 21 months, basically, 20 months. He has not been out there in a competitive situation. He will be suspended until mid-October. They can't just throw him out there cold turkey, right? After 22 months and say, there you go. There's our $200 million man. Go make it happen in week 7 of the NFL season. I think you got to play Deshaun Watson if you're Cleveland. And will we see that on Friday night here in Jacksonville? We'll go to Cleveland later in the week. We got our Browns correspondent standing by. We'll ask him the tough questions about Deshaun Watson. And we'll see. It'll be a nice test for Jacksonville. Again, that Cleveland team in the preseason last year, their backups beat the Jaguar starters to death. Those Cleveland backups beat the crap out of the Jaguar starters last year in the preseason. So this will be a nice little test for Doug Peterson and what he's implementing. The Jaguars are the one with a game under their belt already. The Jaguars have more practices. Hopefully it shows that. Hopefully it resembles that on Friday night when Cleveland comes in here for preseason game number 2. Shifting gears to the world of college football for a moment. Remember that? Yeah. College football 19 days away, Seminole fans. You're going to walk out of one tunnel. Duquesne is going to walk out of another tunnel, and y'all are going to get it on at Doak Campbell Stadium. Vanderbilt, Hawaii, August 27th. How about that trip for Vanderbilt? That's awesome. Goodness knows they're not going to a bowl game. That will be their bowl game. And in all sincerity, I was telling Tony Smith this on the way home yesterday. Tony of Jaguars Today, biggest Vanderbilt fan I know. And he even said it. That's our bowl game. Yeah, that's cool that Vandy did that. How many SEC teams have visited Hawaii in the regular season? Not many. 10:30 kick on the CBS Sports Network in 19 days. Northwestern and Nebraska kick off the Big Ten in 19 days. Some games that first Saturday. I'm excited about it. So CBSSports.com, every day leading in to the start of college football, is putting out these things to get you thinking a little bit, right? To stir the pot, to start a conversation. They stirred the pot with me earlier today. And I like Barrett Sallee. We've had him on. He's a good dude. Really good at what he does, man. I love Barrett. I think he is a terrific college football reporter. And I think he might have did this to, like I said, stir the pot a little bit. He goes through all 50 states. And he says this is the best college football team in each state entering the 2022 season. In the state of Alabama, well, of course, he said the Crimson Tide are the best team in that state. In Arizona, he gave the notch to the Sun Devils over the Wildcats. In California, he said it was USC over every other college football team. Colorado, he didn't pick the Buffaloes or the Rams. He picked Air Force. Interesting. So then we get to Georgia, and of course, he picks the Dogs. Very little competition for Georgia in that state. All due respect to Georgia Tech and I guess Georgia State, right? But then I get to the state of Florida. And you could choose between Billy Napier and the Gators, Mario Cristobal and the Canes. What about Mike Norvell and Florida State? Who does Barrett Sallee of CBS Sports, again, who I think does a good job, man. Really like his work, really love having him on Hacker After Dark. Who does he think the best college football team is in the state of Florida? The UCF Knights? The UCF Knights? Are you kidding? This is what he says. Florida held this title last year, but a disastrous 2021 season that resulted in the dismissal of Coach Dan Mullen can't be ignored. Florida State and Miami are still trying to get back on track, which makes it hard to pick either one of them. UCF has at least 9 wins in 4 of its last 5 seasons and topped the Gators in last season's Gasparilla Bowl. The Knights' grip on the state is tenuous, but the Sunshine State is still black and gold for now. That's laughable to me. It's laughable. You're going to sit here and you're going to say that if UCF and Miami play on a neutral field, play in Tallahassee tomorrow, you're going to pick UCF to beat Miami? Or if UCF and Florida play on a neutral field where Florida actually cares about what's going on, it does not have an interim coach who's going to take a job at like the University of Buffalo or wherever a few days later, has a healthy Anthony Richardson, mind you. Did Anthony Richardson play in that bowl game? I don't think so. He did not. You're going to sit here and tell me UCF is going to beat Anthony Richardson and Billy Napier on a neutral site? Come on, man. Get real. I like Gus Malzahn, and I like what UCF's doing. But to say that they are the best college football team in the state of Florida entering 2022 is ridiculous. Now, could UCF beat Florida State? I think there's more of a conversation there. I would still pick Florida State to win, but I don't think it's outrageous to say UCF could stay on the field with FSU right now. But in no way, shape, or form would I pick UCF to beat Miami. And in no way, shape, or form would I pick UCF to beat a Gator team who actually cares and who has Anthony Richardson as their quarterback. UCF beat a Florida team with Emory Jones and a coaching staff that was going to be out the door the next day. That's the Florida team UCF beat. And if that makes me a Gator homer, so be it. But unless you're a UCF grad or a UCF diehard, who's picking UCF to beat Florida in a neutral site game in Miami tomorrow with a healthy Anthony Richardson at quarterback? Denmark, you're a Gator alum. It's ridiculous, right, to say UCF is the best team in the state?
I'd say it's a stretch. That would be the word I use.
And this isn't even a Gator homerism thing. UCF would not beat Miami.
I mean, like, think about how many dudes does UCF have that could play for Florida, Miami, or Florida State?
Well, the Florida transfers are UCF's better players now. Kamari Gamble, DeMarcus Bowman. And again, I'm not trying to rip UCF. They are a good program. They're moving into the Big 12. They did beat Florida. They did. They had the Gator logo on the helmet, and they were wearing orange and blue. Didn't have Anthony Richardson, though, did they? I just think that to say UCF is the best team in the state, yeah, I don't agree with that. 641-1010 is the phone number. Hey, UCF fans, where are you at? Am I wrong? 2022, are you the best team in the state? Are you better than Miami? Are you better than Florida State? Are you better than Florida? CBSSports.com thinks you are. Took me off guard. Mia O'Brien of XL Primetime. She did a terrific job all weekend in Canton, putting out tons of content, including that video. It's like a 3-minute video that she put together, putting a bow on Big Bo in the Hall of Fame in Canton. Absolutely terrific. We'll talk with Mia about the weekend that was. She was out at practice today. Jaguar football with Mia O'Brien next. Hacker After Dark on a Monday here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's never as good as you think. It's never as bad as you think. There were some good individual efforts. There's a lot of things we got to clean up. It just comes down to fundamentals and details, assignments, alignments, the details of routes, run game, the fits for the offensive line, things like that, and build towards this next one.
Next up, the Cleveland Browns, this Friday night at 7 on 1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
People who call QC Kinetics are pretty much fed up with joint pain.
It's to the point where it's affecting their quality of life. Maybe they can't pick up their grandchildren anymore, or golf, or play tennis, or walk with their friends.
Dr. Justin Garzone, Medical Director at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, giving lasting joint pain relief with no drugs, no steroids, and no surgery.
The great thing about our therapies, there isn't any downtime. There's no side effects, so patients can get our treatment and continue on with their day-to-day life.
And Dr. Garzone speaks from experience. He had excruciating back pain and got relief at a QC Kinetics clinic.
Over a very short period of time, the pain went away completely, and I've had absolutely no symptoms or pain since my treatment.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Training camp is here, and 1010XL is there. The players, the drills, even the turf. Let's do it. Training camp coverage is brought to you by Kingfish Pest Control and Roland Reach Plumbing on 1010XL.
Hey, Carline here for Griffin Service. Every year, Griffin Cooling and Plumbing sees thousands of families that wait until their AC is broken to address the problem. Imagine waiting until your car dies before you even think of replacing it. It isn't a great experience when your AC stops working and it's 95 outside. This year, if your system is older, consider replacing it before it breaks. It's possible to sleep cool tonight.
Visit griffinservice.com for details. Griffin, the home of the Florida-rated AC.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey for Accelerated Tax Solutions. Who do you trust when dealing with the IRS? You can't trust them to do things right by you. You need a reliable advocate, a real team of local experts on your side, led by attorneys, a group with leadership, having combined 35 plus years of experience helping people just like you resolve their tax issues. Don't wait. Call Accelerated Tax Solutions today. You can trust my friends. That's Accelerated Tax Solutions. Accelerate your tax solutions with Accelerated Tax Solutions.
The 9 after 5 keeps rolling at Southampton. Joe C. inviting you to jump on the tee every Wednesday at the Golf Club of Southampton. Just call 287-PLAY and sign up. We'll give you a little time after work to get there. Always a fun 9-hole game. Chef Gary preparing something nice for afterwards. Prizes and more than anything else. Playing golf with buds and having some suds after. It's the 9 after 5 every Wednesday at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and get on the tee with Joe C.
Wholesale prices, premium service.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here, encouraging you to go back to school confidently with Tire Outlet. During the month of August, get 10% off any service when you show your student or teacher ID. That's right, 10% off all students and teachers the entire month of August. Just bring your ID. For more details on all back-to-school specials, visit TireOutlet.com.
Wholesale prices, premium service. Tire Outlet.
Kick off this fall on the links at Junior Achievement's annual Golf Classic at San Jose Golf and Country Club. For more than 11 years, the funds raised support JA's efforts to help inspire and prepare our youth to succeed in a global economy. All participants enjoy on-the-green breakfast, lunch, drinks, post-play reception, awards, contests, prizes, and much more. To play or sponsor, contact Stephanie Saman at janfl.org or call 398-9944, extension 231.
This is Brandon with North Florida Epoxy Floors. Our product includes a moisture vapor barrier, essential in Florida, so your new epoxy floor looks great and is warranted with no fine print. Get a free estimate at northfloridaepoxyfloors.com.
Are you looking for increased privacy and protection for your family and pets? Look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Superior Fence and Rail is Jacksonville's top-rated fence company, delivering the highest quality fence products. They'll treat your property as if it's their own. So get off the fence and get your privacy back. Call Superior Fence and Rail today for your on-site estimates.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 8, 1992, the original Dream Team win basketball gold at the Olympics 117-85, featuring Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Charles Barkley.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now, hello. Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Back from Canton, Ohio, the Jaguars back on the practice field, and that wheel keeps turning. The Cleveland Browns roll in on Friday for preseason game number 2. Mia O'Brien of XL Primetime joins us here on Hacker After Dark. Mia, let me first say that video that you put together when we were coming back from Canton to kind of wrap up Tony Baselli's speech and just the weekend events up there in the state of Ohio, absolutely fantastic. If you have not seen it, 1010XL Twitter, 1010XL Facebook. Mia, congrats to you. That video is outstanding.
I appreciate it, Hack. This way now you know I wasn't just avoiding talking to you and Tony Smith in the airport. It was very much a let me grind out this video, make sure we get it out there for our listeners, for our viewers, and obviously very happy with everything that we were able to do out there in Canton. There's actually a couple ideas still on the drawing room floor that we didn't get to do, so obviously keep it locked in right here throughout the course of training camp in the 2022 season.
Mia, it was a great weekend. As I start reflecting back on it, thank you to our boss man, Steve Griffin, Donna Murphy, who made a lot of the accommodations for us. From a radio station point of view, it was fantastic, but obviously the bigger picture, the Jaguar organization, the city. Boy, what a weekend in Canton, Ohio.
Yeah, it was absolutely magnificent. A lot of folks and a lot was made of the fact that Tony really was arguably one of the biggest names, the first Jaguar to go into the Hall. Obviously, Leroy Butler's a huge name too, but there was no Peyton, there was no quarterback going in with this year's class. And so I think a lot of people were curious to see what the turnout would be. And in turn, what we saw was a complete Duval takeover. And again, credit to Leroy's family too. I mean, they are, Duval born and raised. And so I'll say this much, Hack. Every official event we were at, all I could think was, wow, all these people from Oakland and San Francisco are probably like, who the heck is Duval? Like, what is this that they're yelling? Because it didn't matter if it was Tony or if it was when Leroy got his name called. You just heard nothing but Duval chants. And that speaks to this great city that we live in and how many people from here made the pilgrimage up to Ohio.
Yeah, there is no question about that. It was Jacksonville North up there. Absolutely. The speech itself, Mia, I thought it was very cool to be there at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio, to see every speech. But when Tony got up there acknowledging Jaguar fans, acknowledging our colleagues like Jeff Prosser, Dan Hicken, Frank Frangi, I thought Tony's speech on Saturday was a home run, Mia. I thought he knocked it out of the park.
Absolutely. And it was one of those things, Hack, where I was running around with the camera with Tony's family and everybody else. And so I didn't really get to appreciate it. And then speaking with him afterwards, he kept complimenting Jim Woodcock, who, of course, has been Shad Khan's longtime PR guy and is a terrific dude. And Jim really helped Tony quell a lot of his fears because they kept them at 8 minutes. Obviously, we know not everyone stuck to that. But I know Leroy and Tony, they gave very specific instructions to both of them that they needed to be around 8 minutes. And that was really daunting for Tony. And so Jim was really able to help him put that together. And so it's funny you mentioned that recap video because when I was editing it yesterday, that was truly when I actually sat down. And as someone who has been blessed to give a lot of big speeches, like I'm kind of a nerd for that sort of thing. It goes back to my speech and debate, high school competitive speech and debate days. And so I went back and, listened to it as I was editing, and I was like, wow, this actually is such a really well-written speech. There was a great circular arc to it, the concept of family, which obviously we know is very important to Tony. So it was awesome. It was funny. It really wasn't until yesterday at 1:00 editing in the Canton Akron airport that I was like, damn, he was right. That really was a good speech.
Mia O'Brien of XL Primetime. All right, Mia, the Baselli chapter, it was great. We move on now. We start to focus again on the Jaguars. And look, it's been 5 days, right? 4 days since the Jaguars played that game in Canton. Cleveland's coming in on Friday. That game is right around the corner, preseason game number 2. You were out at practice this morning. Just your thoughts on what you saw out there as the Jaguars get ready for preseason game number 2.
For sure, Hack. One of the big storylines is actually what we missed yesterday while we were in transit from Ohio. Arguably, according to our guy, Mark Long of the Associated Press, who's been covering the Jaguars since 2000. Don't quote me, but I believe it's 2000. Sorry, Mark, that I'm dating you. But the point is that he has been to a lot of training camp practices. He has been working and covering this team under a lot of different coaches. And he said that Sunday's practice was the most intense practice since Jack Del Rio and the Oklahoma drills that he would have the team do in front of fans at open practices. And that was, 2005. So we're talking almost 17 years of, whatever you want to call it, type practices. And that also includes, of course, Doug Marone's first season in 2017, TC's first season back in the building. And so knowing full well that Sunday it was as live could be, we knew today would be a little bit less hitting. There was still some popping, but not quite to the level that I'm told it was on Sunday. Today was a lot more one-on-one drills, which in talking to Press Taylor is really what they came out of Thursday with positives from. They felt that guys were winning their one-on-one matchups, even if it wasn't resulting in points or in defensive stops like the way they were hoping for, because that's what he said that first preseason game really was: retention and did you look like you wanted to be there. And that's how they're going to start making their evaluations with the rest of this 93 and then 53-man roster. And so today's practice was a little bit more one-on-one. We saw guys like Zay Jones really step up to the plate. I was just talking to him after practice, not on the record or anything. And he's a quirky dude, man. I told him I'm going to trademark the phrase "the most interesting man in all of Duval" because that's him. But he looks really sharp out there today. He was the only receiver that didn't drop a single pass, caught everything that was contested and thrown his way. And when Christian Kirk pulled up a little limp on a touchdown celebration and then was held out of the final team period, that really allowed Zay to shine even more. On the offensive line, defensive line side of things, on the other side of the field, I should say, because, of course, there was 7-on-7 on one side, and then the linemen were getting after it on the other side of the field. We saw Juwan Taylor back on the field for the first time since a hamstring injury early last week sidelined him for the second half of the week, including the Hall of Fame game. And I'll just tell you this, Hack, if Walker Little doesn't win the job, I'm not really sure what's happening with the right tackle position. And it's nothing against Juwan, but it's just very evident. And obviously, Walker's specialty is pass rush. That's something that Juwan isn't always, the best at. He might be better in the run game. And Phil Rauscher, the offensive line coach, has told me that they want to run the football, so maybe that's part of it. But to me, there was no question that Walker Little looked the best among next to Cam Robinson, who remains perfect in those pass rush drills, by the way. Walker Little looked second best to him, and Juwan Taylor was getting beat by the likes of Caleb Chason and some other guys that won't be on the 53-man roster.
Yeah, it's not a good look, apparently. I mean, coming back from injury, maybe you give him the benefit of the doubt, but clearly Walker Little has looked the part when Juwan Taylor's been out. It'll be interesting to see in the next, 2 preseason games how they divvy up the reps at right tackle. Mia, we talk about Sunday's practice and the physicality of Sunday's practice. Do you think that had anything to do with what we saw Thursday night in Canton, or was that something Doug Peterson probably had planned regardless?
From what we've been told, and I know I've talked to Doug, and Coach Campo has obviously talked to Doug extensively, it was planned. This was the plan all along. That's why he really wasn't too concerned coming out of the Hall of Fame game. Hayes Carlyon was saying to me earlier today how he couldn't believe how calm Doug was. In my conversations with assistant coaches on the staff, that's just who Doug is. Doug has a long-term plan, and as long as they're on course with that long-term plan, he's not worried. I will tell you this. Again, I was not there Sunday, as neither were you or anyone else from 1010XL because we were on the airplane, but apparently Doug did hint that there is going to be another live, intense, crazy day of practice next week. We did the math, and we are assuming that would be next Monday, and that would be before the Jaguars' Saturday preseason game, week 3 against the Steelers. And so it'll be curious to see if it's as live as yesterday was. The guys really seem to respond well to it. I asked Trevor about, seeing Travis Etienne get popped a couple times, and he said, he's like, Travis, number one, craves that contact, but number two, like, this is like, that's what you want to see from him, knowing the injury that he had, that he wants to get back to that. And he said at Clemson, Travis was never afraid of contact. He just never got hurt, though. And so, yeah, there's a little bit in the back of your mind that you got to protect your guys, but also you want your guys to be ready, because that's just as hard as the defenders are going to come in real life action. Final
moments here with Mia O'Brien. You get her on XL Prime Time here on 1010XL. Mia, Press Taylor, I guess earlier this week at practice, said that they're still walking through whether Trevor Lawrence is going to play or not on Friday night against Cleveland. My thought when I read that was this. We got to be careful, at least I think you got to be careful. This isn't Joe Montana, right? This isn't Tom Brady. This is a guy that threw 12 touchdowns and 17 picks last year. You bring in all these new weapons like Kirk and Zay Jones and Evan Ingram, and if you're not going to play him very much in the preseason, Mia, to me, I'd like to see some reps before that Washington game on September 11th. Am I overthinking that, or do you think we should see Trevor a little bit here, maybe on Friday night or certainly next week against Pittsburgh?
Personally, I do think you'll see Trevor on Friday, Hack. I think it'll be about 2 series, maybe a first quarter worth of action. Talking to Travis Etienne, it seems like he wants to play. And if you're going to play him, you're going to play Trevor. It's just the fact of the matter, because you want them to, obviously they have 3 years of experience at Clemson together, but you want them to get those reps together in a live game. I'm most curious, not to flip the question on you, I am most curious to see if Deshaun Watson plays on Friday. That's what I think the real question mark is, whether, excuse me, he's eligible to play, if they opt to play him. Obviously, this will be Cleveland's first preseason game. It'll be the Jaguars' second. And so I think that might also factor into the outcome if you want to keep score in this game, just because the Jaguars have had more padded practices, and they will have had more padded practices by Friday.
Yeah, it looked like the Raiders were ahead of Jacksonville, and the Raiders reported about 4 or 5 days ahead of the Jaguars. Well, now the flip is script, right? Or the script is flipped. The Jaguars have had 4 or 5 more days of practice than Cleveland, so you would hope on Friday night that looks the part that Jacksonville is a little bit more prepared than Cleveland is.
Absolutely. Yes, Hack. I couldn't agree more. And so we'll see what happens. I mean, this is also, it's an interesting Cleveland team in that it's veteran on the defensive side of the ball, but obviously there's a lot of question marks at wide receiver, at tight end, running back. I mean, now Kareem Hunt's asking for a trade. And so it'll be curious to see who they play, since it is only their first preseason game.
All right, Mia, leave us with this. The Book of Bo wrapped up. All 6 episodes are still available wherever you find your podcast, but episode 6 dropped last Friday as everybody was en route to Canton. Now that it's in the books and it's all out there to be viewed and to be watched and to be listened to, your thoughts on how the Book of Bo series came out here on 1010XL.
Yeah, I couldn't be happier with the response. I'll tell you that, Hack. We had so many people in Canton come up to us and tell us how much they loved it and that they listened to it on the drive or the flight there. And, that warms my heart, because that's obviously, why we do it. I can't thank the Baselli family enough for the access that they provided, especially someone put this best, in context on Twitter earlier this week that, I didn't start full time at 1010 until April. We only knew about Tony getting into the Hall in February, even though I obviously was part-time here at the time. We didn't start this project and get it approved by Tony until May 10th or whatever it was at the J Fund golf outing. And so it was obviously a quick turnaround. So I can't thank Graham Marsh enough for those endless sleepless nights that he and I put in over the last few weeks. But I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. As we originally stated, this was inspired by Tyler R. Tynes' The Cam Chronicles, which was a part of the Ringer NFL show. And obviously that was a audio documentary. This obviously took on a life of its own. And in addition to being audio documentary, it also was a visual podcast with a video element. It's been really fun to hear how many people watched it, how many people listened to it, and vice versa. And so I'm going to be honest with you though, Hack. I actually have not watched the final 2 episodes. I obviously wrote them, but I have not actually seen the visual form. We were a little bit busy with the Canton preparations. And so I reached a point where I said to Graham, I trust you, man. I'm not worried. And obviously I know he's known the Baselli family since he was, before he was 10 years old. And so I know this is a project he took a lot of pride in, especially growing up here in the city of Jacksonville. So I said, I trust you, my man. I'm not worried. I know you're getting it done. And I knew Dan was going to handle the narration. I actually did sit in on him narrating it. So I knew that part was going to be good. But yeah, I'm thinking tonight maybe after I maybe take a nap or something. I'm probably going to sit down and actually try to watch as many episodes as I can in continuation, in succession, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just to get the full feel of it. But again, can't thank not only the Baselli family and their friends, but also everyone here at 1010XL that was so supportive of this project.
And you can check out all 6 episodes, The Book of Bo, where you get your podcasts, and certainly you can find them on the 1010XL YouTube, 1010XL Facebook, just to name a few places. Mia O'Brien of 1010XL. Mia, thank you for the time. Enjoyed the Canton weekend with you, and we'll talk again soon.
Absolutely, Hack.
1010XL is your hometown team.
Everything's a challenge. Through adversity to the stars. From the last minute to the last man, we fight. We fight. We fight. We fight. We fight. We fight.
1010XL, where sports fans get together.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
And now that the kids are back in school, you can see the beating your house is taking. Carpets, tile, grout, and even the sofa needs some cleaning. If your home needs some cleaning, give Zero Res a call. Right now, get 50% off tile and grout sealing. Zero Res, spelled forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Upgrade your grilling game to amazing meals with a new high-quality grill from Caladad Grills. Why Caladad? It means quality. Expert grills that stand apart from the crowd, like Traeger, Kamado Joe, and Napoleon. In stock today and built to last. Why Caladad? It's a local family business, so they'll save you money and time with free delivery. Stop by Caladad Grills at the end of Cumberland Park Drive, just off County Road 210. Caladad, they make it easy for you to grill like a pro.
Estate cleanouts, hoarding cleanouts, old appliances, and even tools. There are tons of reasons why you or someone you know may need expert help clearing space. J-Dog Junk Removal will responsibly help you free up space. That means when they leave your place, it looks better. Whether it's you or a loved one that needs one type of clean out at your home, trust the veterans at J-Dog Junk Removal. Veteran owned and operated. Call 844-GET-JDOG or visit jdog.com.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinsky. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Keeping your body healthy and active leads to a more vibrant life. A great place to do that is the First Coast YMCA. The Y is equipped with state-of-the-art cardio and strength equipment, plus group exercise studios where trainers host activities like yoga, Zumba, and cycling sessions. The full-court basketball gym and indoor 5-lane swimming pool are open year-round. The Kids Zone can keep an eye on your kids while you work on that dad bod. And it's all available with your family membership. Learn more at fcymca.org.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Youth sports are getting back into full swing, so you know what that means. Custom Yetis so dads can keep their beer or sodas cold. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Hello, Jacksonville. This is Greg McGarity, President and CEO of Gator Bowl Sports. The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl game and events have been a Jacksonville staple for more than 75 years. We support more than 4,200 local youth annually through Gator Bowl charities. Gator Bowl Sports is a perfect way for local companies and individuals to get involved. We'd love to meet with you and talk about how you can join our team. If you'd like to learn more, contact us at 798-1700. 798-1700.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and 3-time champion. Trust me, I know about joint pain.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith talks about chronic joint pain and exciting new regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics.
I know what it's like to fight through pain, but now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced, all-natural regenerative medicine that can give you lasting relief with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Do you suffer with constant pain from arthritis or injury? Pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or lower back? Don't assume steroids, pain meds, and surgery are your only options. Regenerative, restorative, natural solutions are now available.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love.
Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation and learn how regenerative medicine can repair and restore damaged joint tissue.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Halftime here on Hacker After Dark. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you till 10 o'clock tonight. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, Graham Hall covers the Florida Gators for 247sports.com. He's less than 15 minutes away. Lauren Brooks, you get her every day on the Frangie Show. She is coming up at the bottom of the hour. Denmark, I am an electric razor guy, right? I like to shave the old face here and charge the razor back up, shave it again the next morning. Translation, I'm not a guy that likes to use those $2 Bic, razors that you get at any, convenience store, CVS, Walgreens, etc. We're all man's men here, right? Yeah, that's just not my thing. But as we were traveling to Canton, I did not take my electric razor with me, and I realized this. I was like, well, got to do something because I'm going to have a very hairy face if I don't shave over the next 5 days. So I got one of the, cheap razors.
You get what you pay for, man.
Saturday, we're getting ready to go to the Baselli Enshrinement at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium there in Canton, Ohio. And I'm shaving quick because I'm in a car with Hicken and Prosser, and when they're ready to go, right? So I get the bat signal on the phone. They're in the lobby. It's go time. So I'm wrapping up my shave, throwing my shoes on, and I realize, I've taken a chunk out of my face on the left side, and it's one of those that just won't stop bleeding. So now what do? Now I'm either going to have to not go with Hicken and Prosser, wait for the hour-long ordeal to come to an end, or do you grab a white hotel towel and you just deal with it, thinking it'll stop on the ride in? So I do that. Grab the towel, throw it up against my face, put some pressure there. Hicken, Prosser, me. Who else was in the car? I think it was Leon and Mia. We were all in the car heading to the Hall of Fame induction. We get out of the car, get on the media shuttle. Still bleeding. Get out of the media shuttle. Walked 19 miles to the stadium because where the media shuttle dropped us off was in another zip code, I believe, from the stadium.
You got your steps in this weekend, man.
I did.
The airport.
There's no question. There was a lot of walking involved. Still bleeding. So then I get into the stadium, and I think I am the only person. I take this as an honor, as a privilege, that I'm willing to bet I'm probably the only person in the history of the Hall of Fame induction ceremony that went up to the press box bleeding from cutting his face with a razor. Because I had Pete Prisco, I had Sal Paolantonio, I had who's who of NFL media say, hey, man, do you know you're bleeding? No, I have no idea. I just got this washcloth attached to my face. As it was a good one, I'll tell you. But finally, my good friend Matt Hayes went into paramedic mode, put some pressure on it for me. got it to stop. I had a great rest of the day. What's the moral of the story? I will never use a cheap razor again in my life. I will pack my electric razor wherever I go for the rest of the time I am on planet Earth. Because I don't ever want to have a situation like I had this past weekend. No, Lauren Brooks got a kick out of it. We'll talk about that with her at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. Fun was had for all that saw me having to have the white towel upon my face in the middle of the press box during the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Speaking of the Hall of Fame, CBS Sports put out a list, the top 20 players still not in the Hall of Fame. And I'm scrolling, and I'm looking, and I don't see Fred Taylor's name anywhere on this list. More on that tomorrow night, but that is absolutely ridiculous. You can't tell me Fred Taylor is not one of the 20 best to still not be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Graham Hall covers the Florida Gators for 247sports.com. Does a terrific job. Florida, 26 days away from Utah. Saturday, September 3rd, Florida fall practice has begun. Let's talk about it with Graham Hall over in Gainesville. That is next. Hacker After Dark on a Monday here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
1010XL knows the Jaguars aren't the only team in training camp. You're sweating every detail, planning for the first preseason home game. 1010XL appreciates your devotion. So this week, listen for the training camp montage.
This is a drill.
Go, here we go. Let's go. It's live now. Let's go.
That's it.
And be the 10th caller to win a Trevor Lawrence limited edition Gatorade GX bottle kit. 1010XL, home of the Jaguars fan.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Have you ever regretted buying a car? Is the idea of shopping at a dealership scary? We want you to know that you don't have to feel that way, and I promise that Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet will provide the wow experience and peace of mind you deserve. We believe that taking care of our team, our customers, and our community is more important than anything. So give us the chance to earn your business and join our 50,000 plus and counting wowed customers. You won't regret it. See you at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're going to wow you.
Waste Management is paying a $5,000 bonus to CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics for jobs in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine. Apply online at wm.com/careers.
Equal opportunity employer.
It all comes down to Daytona and the Coke Zero Sugar 400 race weekend, August 26th and 27th. Answer this question for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 August 27th. Which manufacturer has the most wins in the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the answer to 641-1010. Which manufacturer has the most wins in the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the answer to 641-1010.
Are you considering improvements to the exterior of your home but dreading the pushy salesman with amazing discounts? Then don't. Call Kohler Homes instead. We provide an honest consultation, then pinpoint the best window no matter who the manufacturer. If you fall for the pressure sale, then you limit your options. Don't be rushed into that contract with a pretty discount. Let the consultants at Kohler Homes help you make the right choice. So visit KohlerHomesInc.com for all your window, door, painting, and siding needs, or give us a call at 904-580-3777 to schedule your free consultation today.
Hey, does your car still only play CDs? No Bluetooth? No CarPlay? You got an old car, my friend. You know what's better than an old car? A less old car. Get a car or truck that's new to you with a great used car loan from 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Get pre-approved for a loan and shop at any dealership in town. Get a low rate and get rid of that old car today. Apply online at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
The 9 after 5 keeps rolling at Southampton. Joe C. inviting you to jump on the tee every Wednesday at the Golf Club of Southampton. Just call 287-PLAY and sign up. We'll give you a little time after work to get there. Always a fun 9-hole game. Chef Gary preparing something nice for afterwards. Prizes and more than anything else. Playing golf with buds and having some suds after. It's the 9 after 5 every Wednesday at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and get on the tee with Joe C.
There's still time to purchase your tickets for the Summer Nights presented by 1-to-1 Financial.
Enjoy an evening affair benefiting Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida as you enjoy delicious foods from local restaurants like Orsay, craft cocktails, fine wine, and craft beer while dancing to live music from the Bold City Classics. Summer Nights will be held Saturday, August 27th at the Glass Factory. Purchase your tickets at tinyurl.com/1010 Summer Nights.
Years ago, when Harold and Harold was growing, we had a decision to make whether we were going to grow into the state or even beyond. And we decided that we were going to stay here in this community in Northeast Florida. That it's staying here and not looking at where's the next place that we can go or how can we get bigger, because bigger is not necessarily better. This is our home. This is where our families are. This is where our friends are. And this is where we're going to stay. Offices, Jacksonville.
High Flying Jacko here, sports fans. Woody's Barbecue has the fallingest off the bone ribs and chicken, the moistiest turkey and pork, and the bestest French fries and vegetables.
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do. Let's eat.
Bill was tired of saying no to his kids because of his debilitating pain.
I have 3 kids that are 13 and under. Every day they're asking, Dad, can we take a bike ride? Dad, can we play ping pong? Unfortunately, in the past, I had to sadly say no quite often.
An accident left Bill with aching knees and shoulders. Even after 4 knee surgeries, Bill still felt constant pain in his knees. And then he discovered QC Kinetics and their natural biologic therapies.
I did it on the knee. It really became life-changing. I had the same results with the shoulder.
QC Kinetics non-invasive regenerative treatments help restore damaged tissue and provided much-needed relief for knees, hips, shoulders, and backs. Right there in the office, no downtime. Bill's able to do just about anything these days.
Like taking my kids to Disney World and walking 10 miles a day at Disney, bike riding, taking a walk on the beach.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 8, 1992, the original Dream Team win basketball gold at the Olympics 117-85, featuring Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Charles Barkley.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Now.
Hello.
Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. You know, all the talk about Tony Baselli going into Canton, all the Jaguar coverage we have had and will continue to have, mind you, you start to lose track a little bit. We're 19 days away from the first college football weekend, and we are 26 days away from Utah coming to Gainesville to take on the Florida Gators. Let's head to Gainesville. Graham Hall covers the Florida Gators for 247sports.com, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Graham, it's been a little while, man. How are you?
It has been. It was quite an off season, but honestly, it felt like it went through in a blink of an eye here. We are, like you said, 3 weeks away from a lot of football descending upon us here. And as you kind of mentioned here, this is one of the toughest matchups to open a season for the Florida Gators that I can remember here. I mean, maybe that Michigan game in 2017, but this is a different caliber in my mind, and it gives Florida the potential of opening the season 0-1 at home to begin the Billy Napier era.
You know, Graham, a guy like you that covers the Gators on a daily basis, from when Billy Napier got hired in December to putting together that huge staff, not only of coaches but of recruiting, to the recruiting signing days, to spring practice and summer conditioning and media days and Elite 11 and all of this stuff. And now we're finally here inside of a month until Billy Napier actually coaches a game on the Gator sideline. I would imagine everybody down there in Gainesville, yourself included, is ready for a little bit of football.
I would think so. You know, I've been using kind of the metaphor of the hurricane here, and I know that's not really the mascot that a lot of Florida fans want to think of right now, but it's because so much is swirling around the sport right now. Transfer portal, NIL. I mean, we're seeing things, the landscape reshaped right now. kind of by a hurricane. And the games themselves are kind of that beautiful eye of the storm where we can just for 4 hours and throughout the week focus on the games, talk about the players who are actually here right now rather than the focus on prospective players. You mentioned the recruiting for judging Billy Napier. That is one of those things that is really, I think, specific, individual to these past 2 decades, is being able to have this opinion about a head coach based on the amount of recruiting information that is out there. You go to 24/7 Sports, you go to any of these websites that cover recruiting daily, and you can really get a sense of how a coach is doing, who they're going after, and who they're missing on. And it can lead to this perception here after just 8-9 months in a place like Gainesville or in Coral Gables that a coach is either doing a good job or a bad job before they ever step on the field and coach a game. And I think that's kind of when a lot of the stuff is going to be evened out. These recruiting advantages we're seeing some schools have through NIL, you name it. I think the season has always kind of been a correction of the means, in a sense, a return to normalcy at a time where you really can see the best teams right now are going to shape the landscape of recruiting, not necessarily NIL. And I think there's a lot of people just waiting for this to get here so we can focus on that. I think especially Billy Napier, because so much of the conversation has been about Florida's NIL efforts and the transfer portal and the current roster, that I think that this guy wants a lot of people to judge him based on how those 60 minutes of football unfold.
Graham Hall, 247sports.com. All right, Graham, let's dive in to the 2022 Gators and what we're going to expect this year. And there are a couple of things coming out of media days and conversations I've had that I'm going to throw at you, and you tell me how much of a concern you believe they are. Again, a guy that covers Florida football every day. Number one, I've heard that starting 22 for starting 22, Florida can compete with a lot of teams in the SEC. The potential problem is players 23 through 50, meaning they might have a depth issue. Is that a concern for Gator fans, yes or no, and why?
That's spot on. I think that the first 22 guys right now are extremely solid up and down the roster. I mean, starting with Anthony Richardson, and you look at an offensive line that added Osiris Torrance and returns 3 starters of last year, is high on a lot of guys that they're bringing in. You look at the backfield, bringing in Montrell Johnson. You return Justin Shorter. You added Ricky Pearsall and tight end. I mean, you're going to run a lot of 12-man formations. So as long as you can have 2 capable tight ends on the field, this offense could absolutely be better than the one last year. And then look on defense. Yeah, they have to replace Kyer Elam in the secondary, but you got Jason Marshall Jr. right there. Impressive guy. You have 2 returning safeties. You've got Brenton Cox Jr. there. You got Ventrell Miller back. You have Jervon Dexter. I mean, I can go on and on and on about Florida's first 22 guys right now. After them, what you just said, I think is a huge concern right now. There are some guys on this roster that I would say would struggle to be re-offered by this staff if they were going through as a recruit right now. That's probably the best way that I can put it without kind of coming out and disrespecting anyone, is that there are some people here who are going to struggle to play at the SEC level on Florida's roster. That doesn't mean that Florida's necessarily going to have to play them this season, but injuries are a huge part of this game. If Florida sees guys go down at several positions, you could see some guys who are unproven and have a little lower ceiling than a lot of the rest of the SEC who have to come in and see the field this year. Defensive line is a huge concern. The interior of the defensive line, I think if you lose a guy like Jervon Dexter or Desmond Watson is really not in the improved shape that Florida staff and fans were hoping that he would be at, that could be a huge drop off just based on the amount of experience there and some of the, just like I said, skill sets of other guys on that roster. So I think that Florida really, they're kind of in a precarious position right now where they have to emphasize physicality in practice, especially tackling. But if you see guys like Ventrell Miller go down, Jason Marshall Jr., Trey Dean, if any of those guys go down in Florida's defense or in the front seven, you could absolutely see a huge drop-off, which for Florida fans, I think that wouldn't be too surprising based on last year. You had Miller go out, there was a drop-off. You had the scheme where I think that Florida could only do so much. The hope for a lot of Florida fans is that the simplified scheme is going to lead to a lot of these unproven guys being able to play at a higher level than they would have last year. I think that remains to be seen, absolutely. But that's, I think, what the optimistic perspective is when you look at some of these depth concerns, the experience issues. You think that maybe the coaching staff, their preparation over the last 8 months can kind of accelerate the development and make up some of these shortcomings. Again, that remains to be seen. So I can't come out here right now and say, oh, it's going to be fine if any of these guys go down, because we truly don't know that yet.
Graham, you said it, and I've heard it from so many people. Run defense. There is a thought that the Gator run defense is going to be a problem. After Dexter in the middle of that D-line, quite frankly, there's not a lot of proven college football commodities. So my question to you, and you hit on it there a little bit, what can Billy Napier, what can his defensive coaches, if anything, do to protect that vulnerability of the run defense in the middle of that D-line, whether it's bring safeties down, bring linebackers closer? Because if there's one weakness, Graham, you don't want to have in the SEC, and that's run defense. We saw it time and time again last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that with this Florida team, you have a lot of guys last year out of position, overcommitting, you name it here. If Florida can set the edge this season and they can disguise the rush, the amount of defensive backs on the field should make up for some of the inadequacies that I think Florida has from a personnel standpoint, along with the scheme. And what I mean by that is that if Florida can, like I just said, it's hard to out-scheme someone right now, but if you can have a scheme that allows everyone to just use their athleticism and their natural football instincts, and I have to think about too much, where they generally know their assignments based on what the other team is doing, I think that absolutely that can make up a lot of the deficits, like I said. So I think with Florida, that's going to be the huge thing, especially in their run defense. I think that if you can get guys like Amari Burney, who I think did struggle last season in run defense, if you can get him and Ventrell Miller to certainly fill some of the holes there in the interior of the defensive line that I think will appear, I think that Florida is going to be fine. But that interior of the defensive line could be the huge issue for Florida. Even with, Jermon Dexter coming back, I think he's incredibly impressive. I think that there are some rumblings that maybe they're not going to get as much from a rep standpoint out of Desmond Watson as they really would have liked. I think if that's the case, Florida is going to have trouble plugging the middle and stopping the run here this season. And as you know, there's a lot of really good, capable running backs that they're going to face on the roster this year. McIntosh, John Emery Jr., you name it. So absolutely that remains to be seen with Florida. But in guys in their front seven that you have coming back, I saw an article recently that said Florida had no guys of impact in their front seven. I just think that's categorically untrue. I mean, you look at Javon Dexter, that is a guy who is in better shape. You look at Brenton Cox, 8.5 sacks last season, 14.5 tackles for loss, and he played injured through the entire season. And then you get Ventrell Miller back, who is just a surefire tackler. This is a defense that could be much better than I think a lot of people think. But right now, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that they are absolutely going to be better, but there's a lot of promise.
A couple of more for Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports covering the Florida Gators. He's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Graham, let's go to the other side, the offensive side of the ball, Anthony Richardson. We're about a weekend to camp. What's the thought on Richardson a weekend getting ready for that Utah game, Labor Day weekend?
Yeah, let me shut this down in case there's any inklings here or questions right now. Anthony Richardson's Florida's starting quarterback. There's not really a battle between him and Jack Miller, although the coaching staff is still pushing Jack, obviously. Jalen Kitna didn't practice the other day. They didn't bring in another quarterback. They have a freshman on the roster. This is Anthony Richardson's team is what I am saying. And he has absolutely owned that through practice. He is carrying himself like more of a leader. He's more neutral than he even was before. And that's what I always said was one of those underrated values of Richardson. When I could ever get someone in the room to listen about Anthony Richardson's strengths, yeah, they'd say all the obvious. Arm strength, looks like Cam Newton. I've heard them all in all, time and time again. But the one difference that I say is between Anthony's demeanor and Cam Newton's demeanor, and I'm a huge Cam fan, so this isn't an insult, but he's not as loud, bombastic. He doesn't talk confidently about himself often. He's very reserved in his demeanor. Humble is a great way to describe it. And that's kind of the personality in my mind that you want on the field as a starting quarterback. Someone who is going to get upset at the bad throws, yes, but they're not going to let it carry over where they're trying to make amends for it on the next series. I think you go back to last season and you look at clips of him where he was at his best. It was when Florida, where he was playing pressure free, and Florida was sometimes even behind in those situations because he really wasn't forcing anything in a sense. You can make the case for him that he is one of these guys who is just kind of a quiet leader in a sense. And yeah, he gets animated and he can sometimes talk some trash out there. Absolutely. But this is a guy who is mature. And I think that is one of his most underrated aspects heading into the season. Yeah, there's going to be some interceptions. There are going to be some plays that fall apart. The other day in practice, he threw a pick six and rebounded incredibly. And it's more about how you rebound than the fact that a mistake happened. Every great quarterback is going to go out there and misfire on some throws. It's how you respond to not let it become to use another Panthers quarterback, not become a Jake Delhomme in the playoffs 4 interceptions type situation there where you become rattled. His ability to regain his focus, get back and focus on the next play is, I think, one of his most impressive attributes. And I think you're going to see that this season.
Graham, we got about 90 seconds. So a quick thought. And again, we'll hopefully do this one more time before that Utah game on Labor Day weekend. But I haven't talked to you since all the preseason magazines came out, since media days. And pretty much across the board, Florida's picked 3rd or 4th in the SEC East. Some have even Tennessee and Kentucky above them, along with Georgia. Is that about right, or do you think people might be sleeping on this Gator team?
I think they might slightly be sleeping on this Gator team, but I think right now you're also seeing kind of a perfect storm of circumstances. And that kind of, to go back to that hurricane metaphor earlier, I mean, you look at a Kentucky team that has stability, fan investment, and now they have a really good quarterback. They're benefiting from the transfer portal. I mean, they just won a recruiting battle over Florida State. I mean, that would not have happened a decade ago where you could have said, oh, of course they're going to Florida State. I mean, of course they're not going to Florida State. They're going to Kentucky to play for a team that may finish 2nd in the SEC East and may have another top 15 finish. No guarantees of that in Tallahassee. That absolutely is the case right now. And Florida fans, for them, that is kind of jarring right now because for so long, it was 31 years of that streak where the Gators had beat. I mean, that's longer than I've been alive, man. So to reconcile the recent streak, which was only 8 years ago, I think, where that was snapped, maybe even less, with the fact that Kentucky may be a better team. I think they certainly proved that last season, but they may once again be a better team. I think that's difficult for Florida fans to accept. With Tennessee, I think that right now I'm a little bit less likely to say that Tennessee is a better team than Florida. And the big reason is because of the defense. I think that Tennessee's defense is getting more respect than I would give them right now. And you can't win in this league without a defense. They don't even have a starting 11 that I think is top 10 on defense in the SEC. So when you factor that in, and the points I just made about Florida having a really good starting defense in my mind, 11 guys that they really can count on, when you factor those two things, when you combine those two things and consider them both, it's hard for me to really say that Tennessee right now is a better team than Florida. The reason I think they could finish 3rd is the schedule, the fact that they have, I think, really good fan investment right now, and they're going to have a really big home crowd because those fans are bought in to believe that this is their time to get back into the upper echelon. I think that and the schedule with Hendon Hooker, I think he's a really good quarterback. I was saying it last year that Florida got really lucky that they hadn't settled on a signal caller last year. Those factors combined, I can see the Gators finishing 4th, but it could be separated by one game really here. So if you're a Florida fan, I wouldn't put too much stock into that. You just want to see gradual improvement, knowing that the schedule is difficult and some of the teams ahead of you just have a perfect storm of circumstances. I mean, you can't even consider being number 1 with what Georgia is doing right now. So,
which is amazing because Georgia, again, 15 drafted guys, not to mention transfers, graduation, and there's not even a conversation to be had. They are clearly still the best team in the SEC East. Graham Hall covers the Gators for 247sports.com. Graham, always enjoy the conversation, man. We always appreciate you. Let's do it maybe game week leading into Utah at the beginning of September.
You got it. This is a lot of fun. We got to link back up. Thanks for having me on.
1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
You mad? Yeah, I'm mad! Good and mad! Yeah! What do you want to do about it? Feels good, doesn't it?
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Like you're still alive, right? Yeah!
Mornings on 1010XL.
Duck Duck Rooter is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we are looking for top talent to join our team. If you are a plumber, CDL driver, or have experience installing septic drain fields, come join Duck Duck Rooter and let's win together. We offer our players a full package that includes excellent weekly pay, paid holidays, health insurance, and new state-of-the-art equipment. Log on to DuckDuckRooter.com and click on the careers page to apply. That's DuckDuckRooter.com. Duck Duck Rooter is an equal opportunity employer.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
The Hometown for Heroes Home Buyers Program helps you get your down payment and closing costs paid. Call to learn more. 574-7180.
You can play in the golf tournament benefiting the Derek Hatcher Foundation, combating the disease of addiction, August 13th at Eagle Landing Golf Club. Register at DerekHatcherFoundation.org.
Play poker and help families in the Hold'em for Life Texas Hold'em Poker Tournament, Saturday, September 17th at Blessed Trinity Parish Hall. Call 847-778-8824.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
If you know someone with cancer and no insurance, call the U.S. Uninsured Helpline at 800-234-1317.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com. Training Camp. Get the latest on your favorite players with 1010XL's training camp coverage. From the practice field straight to you, we'll take you to camp. Brought to you by Kingfish Pest Control and Roland Reach Plumbing.
Prosser here. You know, these higher interest rates are really slowing home price growth, but you can still get top dollar for your home right now with Chad and Sandy Realty. Maybe you need a bigger home for your office. Maybe you got a growing family. Chad and Sandy are the only real estate experts I trust and recommend with the sale of your home. Chad and Sandy guarantee multiple offers on your home. That's important. And they're going to do it in 3 days or it's sold free. Get maximum convenience and maximum sales price. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. How huge is that? Stay in your home after the sale until you close on your dream home. There are lots of testimonials rolling in. Kristen from Ortega says, I had a realtor, but he wanted to sell for a price well below my number. I called Chad and Sandy after a brief consult. I hired them on the spot. They listed and sold my condo for $54,000 higher in 5 days. You need to call Chad and Sandy today at 904-414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
Leon Searcy here. You know why I'm happy? Thanks to Famous Automotive and Quick Lube. You know, when Big Sur's needs trusted repairs for my ride, I'm always going to choose Famous Automotive. No matter what part of town I'm in, Orange Park, Mandarin, Cassett Avenue, University, even St. Augustine, you always get consistent, expert repairs and superior service. That's no joke. And let them know you heard it from me, Big Sur's.
Famous Automotive and Quick Lube, servicing every customer like they're famous.
Keeping your body healthy and active leads to a more vibrant life. A great place to do that is the First Coast YMCA. The Y is equipped with state-of-the-art cardio and strength equipment, plus group exercise studios where trainers host activities like yoga, Zumba, and cycling sessions. The full-court basketball gym and indoor 5-lane swimming pool are open year-round. The Kid Zone can keep an eye on your kids while you work on that dad bod. And it's all available with your family membership. Learn more at fcymca.org.
Life a little expensive right now? If you need cash, Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jack's Beach is ready to buy. Gold, silver coins, and flatware, guitars and guns. Beaches Jewelry and Pawn wants to buy them. See Chuck and get extra cash only at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinsky. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Hey Gator fans, Hayes Carline here. Listen for my summer podcast about how Billy Napier is building back the Gators. We'll talk to players, staff, and Coach Napier about how the Gators get back to glory. This podcast is presented by the personal injury law firm of Harrell & Harrell.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Now, another interview on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the Accident Attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us back from the state of Ohio. The Jaguars back on the practice field this morning. Lauren Brooks of the Frangie Show was at the airport last night at 9 o'clock, and she was at the Jaguar practice fields this morning. That is dedication, is what that is, and she's with us here on Hacker After Dark. Lauren, how you doing?
Well, Hacker, I just have to say thank you for having me on. This is my inaugural time on the show, and I am honored to be joining you.
Well, Lauren, we certainly appreciate it, and let's just recap the Canton trip really quick. I think I have a newfound respect for the Charlotte International Airport as we were dropped off on the northwest quadrant and had to walk to the southeast quadrant. That was the most incredible airport journey of my life. But all in all, a very cool weekend, and what a moment for the city of Jacksonville, and especially Tony Baselli there on Saturday.
You said it very well. I think all of Jacksonville had just a monumental day, a magnificent and monumental day on Saturday. And look, starting with our trip there, it was, I mean, just smooth sailing. And these days, you don't really often hear people who travel as, far as we did without issues. And for the most part, we got through it pretty well. So that was a lot of fun. And then, getting to go to the Hall of Fame game, that was my first time certainly ever going there at Tom Benson Stadium. The Jaguars didn't play all that well, but the experience was cool getting to see Tony Baselli that night walk across the field. I think, all Jaguars fans were watching and had chill bumps. And then to, fast forward to Saturday, I did not get to attend the Gold Jacket dinner. That was during our show. But then Saturday, the enshrinement, I was just amazed at how many Jaguars fans made the trip. And just how wonderful the people of Canton were. Everywhere we went, they know that that's a big weekend for them. And so certainly they celebrate it. And having Laurie Butler go in too, I thought his speech to kick things off on Saturday for the enshrinement was fantastic. And then Tony's speech was just unbelievable. He absolutely crushed it. And pretty cool, Hacker, to think we work with people that got mentioned, right? He started with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser, who'd been teasing him for years about whether or not they'd be in the speech. And then he got to Frank Frangie and Jeff Lageman. And so just really cool. Pete Prisco, who we have on our show every Friday, got mentioned. John Ozier, Gene Fournette. It was just amazing that Tony took all that time to really craft that speech. And so from start to finish, the weekend was fantastic. And yes, of course, I was at Jaguars practice this morning. That's what I do. But Hacker, I think the audience needs to know what happened in the press box on Saturday before the enshrinement ceremony began.
Well, look, I have an electric razor, right? I never have to shave with a $2 razor from a drugstore. And let's just say I pulled my best Freddy Krueger enactment, got a little cut on my face, and it was quite the moment. I don't know how many people have ever walked into Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton bleeding from their chin from a razor cut, but I can put that one on my list. That's a notch, Lauren, in my belt, so I'm very proud of that honor.
So for people who didn't get to be there, we show up at the press box and we're sitting down, just chit-chatting, and then all of a sudden Hacker appears with this washcloth that is covered in blood.
Oh, it was bad.
And we're like, who did you murder on your way up here? What in the world? But yes, finally it stopped bleeding. All was well with the world. And it worked out, I think, pretty well. You were wearing a red shirt considering the blood was spattering.
Well, the best part was like Prisco, I think Sal Paolantonio. I mean, the who's who of NFL media. Like, hey, man, you know you're bleeding? No, I had no idea. I just got this washcloth here attached to my face. Had absolutely no idea, you know. But all in all, it worked out. And by the way, for anybody, whether it's a Jaguar or not, that needs to be a bucket list item for NFL fans to go to that ceremony. That entire day was outstanding. Seeing all the inductees get in, the way they do that there in Canton, that was really something I'll remember for a long time.
I totally agree. It was so special. And, I mean, just if the Jaguars didn't have someone, getting enshrined, obviously all of us wouldn't have been able to be there and go for something like it. But you're right. Football Hall of Fame was really cool. Unfortunately, when we went, it was super packed, so we didn't really get to take our time. It was, elbow to elbow kind of thing. But that just goes to show you, the power of this week and all of the events surrounding the Hall of Fame. And so, yeah, I'm with you. I talked to some Jaguars fans after the enshrinement that had made their way up. They had an Airbnb outside of Canton, and they said that if Tom Coughlin or Fred Taylor goes in the near future, they are 100% going back up, doing it all over again. They absolutely loved it.
Lauren Brooks of the Frangie Show here with us on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Lauren, we got in last night. You were out at practice today. By all indications, a very good day for the offense and quarterback Trevor Lawrence connecting with his wide receivers down the field.
It was a good day. And here are a few things that I noticed that were also good news. Yesterday was the really intense practice, and a couple different players, for instance, Will Richardson had to kind of step to the side due to injuries, and they were all back today, so that was good. Christian Kirk, everyone got a little nervous when it looked like he might have injured his ankle, but it was just a rolled-up ankle, so nothing there. So really, the Jaguars have been very fortunate injury-wise to this point. But the big question, of course, with a game coming up Friday night, and we're all expecting Cleveland to start Deshaun Watson, is who will the Jaguars play at quarterback? Well, Press Taylor this morning did not give any indication as to whether or not Trevor will play Friday night. They are still talking about that. So that, for me, was one of the big questions I had for this week, but we're still not sure what's going to happen there. But yes, Trevor Lawrence looked good. He talked after practice. He told us how this is the best he's felt during the football in a while because of all the different things that he's worked on as far as his mechanics are concerned. And he's been able to get stronger over the offseason. And of course, a year ago, he had just come off of surgery. And of course, we all know how dysfunctional everything was. But so Trevor is feeling great, and he loves the different wide receivers that he has and the different things that they can do. And of course, Evan Ingram, technically a tight end, but he looks great. He had, and of course, Giants fans don't want to hear it, but he had kind of almost a one-handed catch across to the other sideline, and that would have gone for a big gain. And so Evan Ingram looks really good to me out there, as does, of course, Christian Kirk. Zay Jones has a burst. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens with wide receivers, I think, 4, 5, and 6, how they end up deciding that group of guys. But overall, yes, another good day for Trevor. I guess yesterday wasn't as good. Obviously, we weren't there because we were traveling back. But today looked really, really sharp. I think it's been a great camp for him and developing the rapport with those new guys especially.
I've been very high on the Evan Ingram signing since they made it in Doug Peterson's offense. I think that could be a diamond in the rough. Plus, it's a one-year prove-it deal, if you will, for Evan Ingram, so I like everything about that. Lauren, my one concern, I heard what Press Taylor said today about they're still talking if they're going to play Trevor on Friday night. Look, you have 3 preseason games. You got Friday night, you got next week against Pittsburgh, and you got Atlanta, and they'll have dual practices or joint practices with Atlanta leading into that game. This isn't Joe Montana, all right? This isn't Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. This is a guy that threw 12 touchdowns and 17 picks last year. He's never played a football game with Christian Kirk, with Zay Jones, with Evan Ingram. He's never played an NFL game with Travis Etienne. You got to be careful to me about being too careful with these guys. I know the injury concerns and all that, but you can't send them out there to me cold turkey against Washington on opening day, never have played a live rep before in a game where the defense is actually trying to stop you.
See, I go the other way. To me, college football doesn't have a preseason, and we see Alabama roll out every year and look fantastic in week one, or albeit Georgia last year against Clemson week one. I don't think there should be an NFL preseason. I absolutely hate it, because you are going to have guys that are trying to make a roster going 1,000 miles an hour, and one of your guys is going to end up hurt. And, we saw it with Marquise Lee, certainly, against the Falcons. And so I absolutely hate preseason. I wish no starter played at all. Only the guys that you're trying to figure out whether or not they're going to make the roster. I understand your point, certainly, that you can't just roll out September 11th and not have against the Commanders and not have had those tackling experiences and things like that. But that's why they did it yesterday. Because we saw Thursday night, obviously a lot of guys didn't play, 21 guys didn't play, but also it really was not the same speed of an actual NFL game. And I don't think Friday night will be either, or next Saturday, or what have you. So for me, I am fine if they bubble wrap them and just in practice when they have it controlled when they do the live tackling.
Lauren Brooks of the Frangie Show. Lauren, I guess there was certainly a tense moment last Thursday with Tyson Campbell. He appears to be fine, but there was a kind of a hold your breath moment there. Well, apparently there was a hold your breath moment or two today involving one of them was Christian Kirk, but by all indications, he's also fine.
He's totally fine. Hayes Carlyon talked to him after practice, and I know people listened to that earlier today on the Frangie Show, that one-on-one with Hayes, who does a great job catching up with the key players post-practice. And so, yes, Christian was fine. Alex Brooks of Jaguars PR announced to everybody right before Trevor spoke that it was just a rolled ankle. He's all good. And certainly if he had gotten actually injured, he wouldn't have done any interviews after practice. So he said he feels fine. And like I said, I know people enjoyed that interview earlier today on the Frangie Show.
Lauren, you look at some of the stars of last Thursday's game, Trevon Walker, we've certainly talked a lot about him. I'll tell you, Arden Key's a guy that, look, we the Jaguars sign these 6 guys on opening day, right? And then you kind of forget that Arden Key wasn't signed until a couple weeks into free agency. 6 sacks last year in San Francisco. He comes in, other than Trevon Walker, was the best player on defense last week for the Jaguars. You wonder, a performance like that, if Arden Key does that again this Friday, Jaguars may have something there.
Well, he's certainly an experienced pass rusher, and I think people kind of forgot about that, and he kind of got lost in the shuffle when it came to this team and this defense because of the scheme. Because he's not technically an outside linebacker, all offseason we've talked about what can Josh Allen paired with Trevon Walker do, and how much attention will Trevon get versus Josh, and how many different times will they be double teamed and all that stuff. So I think we've focused so much on that outside linebacker group and position that we kind of forgot about guys like Arden Key or maybe Dwan Smoot. Certainly we've all talked a lot about Caleb Von Chason, but those 2 defensive linemen, I think it's going to be interesting to see. Arden Key said either last week or the week before that he likes rushing the passer from the inside, and so that's why they've got him lined up there. And certainly, like you said, Thursday night, I think a lot of Jaguars fans were going, wait, who's number 49? Oh, that's right. That's Arden Key. We actually do have a good defensive player from LSU on the roster. I had forgotten that he's here now. And so, look, I think they've got some really good pieces on that defense. I think Mike Caldwell, the defensive coordinator, has almost an embarrassment of riches at the linebacker specifically position. Obviously, the question is moving forward after what we saw with the run defense Thursday night, can this Jaguars team stop the run against real competition? And we certainly won't know that until next month.
Lauren Brooks of the Frangie Show. All right, Lauren, we got about 2 minutes to go in our final moments here. Let's talk about your alma mater, the University of Florida. All the preseason.
The unranked University of Florida.
Yeah, look at all the preseason magazines, they're 3rd or 4th in the SEC East. You and I have talked. I have really, really grave concerns about their defense, particularly their ability to stop the run. I think they got some depth issues. You think Anthony Richardson and that offense, despite the defense's shortcomings, you think they could do something in 2022, correct?
I think they could, and that's based off of, and this is a small sample size, certainly, but going to the spring game at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, Steve Spurrier Field, man, if Anthony Richardson can look the way he did that night, then I think Florida's offense is going to be good. And here's why, because all of a sudden we saw a guy that became a pocket passer. If he is not forced to use his legs, and I hope, or I know that's what he's worked on all off season with our buddy Denny Thompson, owner of 6 Points. If he can be a good pocket passer and reduce the risk of injury, then holy cow, I think Florida can be good. I like their backfield and what they've got, especially with Montage Johnson and Naquan Wright. And then the receivers, we'll see, but I like what we've got in Ricky Pearsall, the transfer from Arizona State. And I certainly like Trent Whittemore, who I think gets overlooked a lot. Do we have a long way to go before Florida, the unranked team, is beating 8th ranked Utah? Sure. But I am super encouraged by Billy Napier, what he's done all off season. And certainly he's been focusing on discipline at practice because Florida was the 3rd most penalized team in the SEC last season. So they've got a lot to clean up. But I really like Billy Napier, and I think this team, I'm not going to say they could be special by any means, but I think they can be better than people thought.
Yeah, hard to believe. We've been so caught up in Tony Baselli and Jaguar training camp. You look on the calendar, 19 days until the first college football Saturday, 26 days until Utah comes to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Lauren Brooks, you get her every afternoon on the Frangie Show. You also get her every Tuesday on Helmets and Heels. Lauren, appreciate the time. Thank you very much. We'll do it again soon.
Thank you so much, Hecker. And by the way, I looked up how many days till the Florida season earlier today, and you are correct. It is 26 days. Since I knew I'd be joining you, I knew I needed to know that information. Thanks so much for having me. And
thank you to 1010XL's Lauren Brooks. Of course, you get her every day on the Frangie Show here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. And yeah, it's interesting. Not a lot of preseason hype for the Florida Gators. They could certainly surprise some people. And if they do start out, if they find a way to start out 2-0, if they find a way to get a win over Utah and then find a way to get a win over Kentucky 7 days later, then all of a sudden, a lot of that lack of preseason hype will turn into a ton of regular season hype. That's how vital those first 2 regular season games are this year for Billy Napier and the Florida Gators at the start of the 2022 season. Well, that'll just about do it on a Monday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Glad to be back in Jacksonville. Had a terrific time up in the state of Ohio to see Tony Baselli go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but certainly glad to be back home. Thank you to Lauren Brooks for joining us. Also, thank you to Graham Hall of 24/7 Sports for talking a little Florida Gator football with us earlier on in the program, and Mia O'Brien of XL Primetime, who put together just an outstanding recap video of all the festivities in Canton over the weekend. If you missed it, check it out on 1010XL's Twitter page, the 1010XL YouTube channel, among many other 1010XL media outlets. We'll be back tomorrow, our late night show on a Tuesday. Are you kidding me? Denmark and I get after it on Tuesday nights. We'll be with you from 10 o'clock until midnight on Tuesday. We hope you join us tomorrow night. Dylan Denmark was your producer this evening. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker Ryan Green. And Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Monday night with us here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. So for all of us at HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Monday evening, and we will talk to you on a Tuesday tomorrow night beginning at 10 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
The home of the home team you grew up with.
And what a pleasure it must be to play quarterback for the Jaguars, to have this kind of talent on both sides of the ball.
1010XL.
At Key Buick GMC, receive 0% financing up to 36 months on select GMCs, $500 off all new vehicles for all active, retired, enlisted, and previous military. Whenever you purchase a brand new vehicle from Key, whether it's a Buick or GMC, it always comes with that lifetime powertrain warranty. A full allotment is in now and available. So visit the good folks at Key Buick GMC right across the street from Tinseltown, Southside and Gate.
I want to take more chances with the embroidering.
Henley's vision for a new clothing line is coming into focus.
Dramatic.
They'll need an on-staff photographer to put their collection in the spotlight.
Why is no one taking shots of these?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
It all comes down to Daytona and the Coke Zero Sugar 400 race weekend, August 26th and 27th. Answer this question for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Coke Zero Sugar 400 August 27th. Which manufacturer has the most wins in the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the answer to 641-1010. Which manufacturer has the most wins in the Coke Zero Sugar 400? Text the answer to 641-1010.
You've got a front row seat for Jaguars football all year long. This is 1010XL, WJXL AM and FM, Jacksonville Beach, home of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. These intense summer storms are a good reminder to visit the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Check out Pella's new Hurricane Shield and Defender series. These amazing windows exceed all coastal requirements for storm protection. Seriously, they can withstand the impact of a 2x4 shot out of a cannon at 50 feet per second. You want quality, style, and protection? Visit PellaJacks.com and the showroom on Phillips Highway right next to Tesla. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Leon Searcy here. Do like I do and crush your craving with wings. Sauced and tossed classic wings, crispy tenders, juicy boneless wings. I came to say it without my stomach rumbling. Time to order some Wingstop. Don't forget about the house-made dips or ranch and blue cheese to make your order 100. Order your favorite today online at wingstop.com or on Wingstop app. Pick up or delivery at Monument Road or any of your 10 Wingstop locations. Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Do you have an unused car, truck, motorcycle, boat, or RV taking up space? Put it to good use by donating it to the NASCAR Foundation. Proceeds help fund medical resources for children in our racing community. Your wheels can heal. Call 844-NASCAR-9 and we'll come tow away your vehicle for free. The process is quick and your gift is tax deductible. Call 844-NASCAR-9 to donate your vehicle to the NASCAR Foundation today. Your donation will help our children survive and thrive.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach.
Hi everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play fantasy football. Draft your team with no in-season management, get the optimal score from your team each week of the season, and have a shot at over $10 million in total prize money in Underdog's Best Ball Mania 3 contest. Head to UnderdogFantasy.com or the App Store now, sign up with the promo code 1010XL, and Underdog is going to match your first deposit up to $100. Again, Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code 1010XL and draft your Best Ball Mania 3 team today.
If you're ready to sell your gold, silver, or diamonds, then go to a name you can trust. Montage Jewelers has been Jacksonville's top gold buyer for 45 years. Relax in our elegant atmosphere as Monahan's expert staff pays you top dollar for your gold, silver, diamonds, and coins. If you need cash for bills, something fun, or want to trade your old jewelry for a great new piece, people have confidence in Jacksonville's top gold buyer, Montage Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. So to sell your gold, check us out at MonahanJewelry.com or call us at 246-GOLD.
Kick off this fall on the links at Junior Achievement's annual Golf Classic at San Jose Golf and Country Club. For more than 11 years, the funds raised support JA's efforts to help inspire and prepare our youth to succeed in a global economy. All participants enjoy on-the-green breakfast, lunch, drinks, post-play reception, awards, contests, prizes, and much more. To play or sponsor, contact Stephanie Saman at janfl.com. or call 398-9944, extension 231.
What QC Kinetics is doing for people right now is nothing short of amazing. Hey, it's Leon Searcy here. If you got joint pain, any pain, you need to call QC Kinetics. They are the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, giving lasting relief with no surgery, no drugs, no downtime. QC Kinetics is in Mandarin and now in Ponte Vedra as well. They're growing because demand for these treatments is off the charts. Modern advances in regenerative medicine allows these medical professionals to take remarkable healing properties from your own body, concentrate them with maximum power, and put them directly into your aching joints so your damaged tissues can be repaired and restored naturally. So many people in Jacksonville are living their best life again, pain-free, thanks to QC Kinetics. If you have pain in your knees, hip, back, shoulders, don't let them keep you on steroids, and don't believe surgery is your only option. Call QC Kinetics now. It's a totally free consultation in 2 convenient locations, Mandarin and Ponte Vedra. Call 904-274-5522, 904-274-5522.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. WJXL FM, Jacksonville Beach. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. The following program was